I work for what's been described as the second largest employer in Cologne, for the local council, for the deputy mayor of planning, regeneration, construction, and infrastructure. So that's basically everything that's got to do with the city's physical fabric. We're in charge of the buildings, the roads, the tunnels, the bridges, the trees, the parks. It's quite a lot in Cologne. And I know I've only got 10 minutes, but I still wanted to start with this slide. This is I hope I'm not stealing anything, or you've seen this before maybe. This is Cologne 2,000 years ago. This is how it started, the Roman city. And this is a couple of hundred years later, the Middle Ages. And the reason I'm showing you this is because Cologne, I think that's specific to the city, is although it's been changed and altered a lot, and although it's been very severely destroyed in the Second World War, lots of the historic patterns are still visible today. You can see, if you know it, you can see the Roman city in this medieval city, and Eigelstein, the area which you will go to tomorrow, is already on that map. And this is then, again, a couple of hundred years later, the late 19th century, and this was a time when Cologne, as many other cities, had to grow quite substantially. And what you see here again is the Roman city, the medieval city, and then a new layer that was put around. And this is the new layer in more detail. It's the plan by a man called Josef Stübben. He's quite an important city planner of that time in Germany. And you can see also how the city, and also I suppose its sensory quality, have changed. You've got the wobbly and narrow streets of the Roman city, and you've got these dense pattern of the churches in the medieval city, and then you've got the new city, and you realize when you see this plan, this image, that the new city has much bigger streets. It's a geometric city. It's got these geometric squares, as you can imagine, wide tree-lined boulevards. And so the city of the late 19th century was very different to what was there before. And this is from 2008. This is pretty much Cologne today. And again, I know this is repetition, the Roman city, the medieval city, the 19th century extension, and then this is from the early 20th century. The inner green ring is the next layer that was put around the city. And of course you can see today the grey bits, the city has gone much, much further. It's grown on the other side of the Rhine. And this map, the red bits, show areas in which Cologne will change over the next few years, or where it's changing at the moment. And I just wanted to briefly talk about some of these projects that are going on at the moment. The biggest areas of change are two conversions of two ports on the Rhine, the port in Mülheim up there and the Deutzer Hafen down here. And this afternoon, and this is why I'm a bit short on time, we have a very big public meeting on how the planning process in Deutz should be happening. You can also see down here another very large area called the Parkstadt Süd. And although this looks on this image as though this is the green belt going through towards the Rhine, this actually isn't there today. This is just an idea. It doesn't exist yet. This is currently the wholesale market, so this is actually sheds and industrial area. And just for orientation, this is the Eigelstein where you go tomorrow, and this is the cathedral, the main station. I want to talk about the project right here, which is called the Via Culturalis. This is a street, and basically this is a little small walk through the city centre. If you walk up to the cathedral, the dome, this is what you see. And if you look south, straight south, you see a street right here, and this is the Roman road. That's been around for 2,000 years, still is around today. And this is the space I want to talk about. So up on top, the cathedral, And at the very bottom, there's another cathedral called St. Maria in Capitol. And between those two cathedrals, that's probably a 10-minute walk, is Cologne's most important cultural, historic, and physical infrastructure. And a lot of that is going to change over the next years. And just to show you what you find there, again up here, the main station, the cathedral. This is the Museum Ludwig, contemporary art in Cologne, the Roman Germanic Museum with all the archaeological findings. This is the historic town hall, the post-war extension to the town hall, another museum showing art from the 19th century, the Dezernat, and down here, St. Maria in Capitol. And all the yellow bits are projects which are going to happen or are being planned at the moment, and you can see that this area is going to change quite a lot. Most important project is a public space project around the cathedral, where, well, the space will be improved. The cathedral is on a hill, and this is to make it a bit more amenable. It's quite a dense space because you've got a cathedral, you've got the main station, a big transport hub, and it's not very easy to navigate. So this is what it's supposed to look like when it's all finished, and this is the construction site a couple of months ago. And this is right next to the cathedral. This is a place called, a small square called Hattenbergplatz. It's not really a square at the moment, but part of the construction site. But this is the idea of what it should look like in the future. And the idea here is to make it a green square, and because that's it's a quality that the inner city lacks. It's a very hard space, a very urban space. So the idea is here to have a soft landscape, to have trees where you can sit under the shade in the summer, where you'll have a drinking fountain to kind of offer a different, I suppose, sensory quality. Just a few more images. And this, again, is next to the cathedral on the left-hand side, a hotel, which exists today. It's a listed building, and it's going to be renovated. And what will be new is the top floor, this light strip that will be in addition to the roof. It's going to be a space where you can sit and drink and watch over the city, see the cathedral and the river. Not showing the next slide. Ah, here we go. That's another image of the same situation. And then again, next to the cathedral, this is probably the biggest project for the city at the moment. This is the Roman Germanic Museum, which needs to be renovated. It's in bad shape. And there are two more buildings down here, which, well, it was decided should go. And the idea is to have another museum which also needs renovating, and relocate it, the Stadt Museum, towards this site and create a new cultural building right next to the dome, and as a result create much more, I suppose, much more public uses in that area. And these are a couple of ideas from last year of how that space could look like. How could the square of the dome become, if there's a new building, should the southern bit of the square be closed and create a vista towards the cathedral, or should it remain open? This is another idea. And should these new buildings be used to kind of make the slope down towards the River Rhine? We'll think more about it this year. There'll be a competition, there will be public participation, probably very intense discussion in the city how this very important area can be developed. If you move a bit further south, again you see the cathedral in the back. On the right-hand side you see the historic Rathaus, and just this red brick building is the Rathaus town hall extension post-war. And then there's a flat built bit where you see there's nothing, and the important The important thing is what's underneath the ground. This is the archaeological zone. 2 more minutes, okay. So this is the remains of the Jewish settlement here in Cologne, which should be excavated and which will also be put into a building. This is a mock-up which you will find on site, and I'll go through this quickly. This is what it should look like, to again show some of the city's history and remains. And to be really quick, I think I'll skip through some other projects. This is just images. If you walk further down, or further projects, museum extensions, the ruins of another church that you will pass, and I'll end on that image. This is St. Maria im Capitol, the end of the Via Culturalis, after 10 minutes walk.
Thank you very much.